In this video, we will create the mouth as well as the teeth to complete our purple monster. I'm going to start by creating an ellipse which has a stroke and no fill. I'm going to find the center, the approximate center of my character's mouth, hold Alt so that I may create an ellipse from its center point. I'll zoom in on this mouth, and we need to rearrange the position of some of these anchor points. So selecting each anchor point will make it active, and once it is active, we can reposition it. Currently, my stroke is a little thick. It's hard for me to see this border, so I might decrease that to 0.25 just so I can see everything a bit more accurately. I'll select the right anchor point and drag this handle straight up. I need a bit more material here, so I will decrease this anchor point in order to add a little more material in. I'll make this anchor point active, drag this handle up, then again to add some material here, possibly shrink that down a bit as well. This looks okay. Might angle these a bit more just to shape the mouth a little bit better. I think I'll angle the handles in and then just decrease a bit of their angle there. Close enough. We'll select it with the black arrow. Hit I for the eyedropper and choose one of the shades of brown that were in the mouth. I will select the mouth with the black arrow. Control C to copy it. Control F to paste a copy. We now have two copies of the mouth on the mouth layer. I will grab this blue bead and drag it to the layer above. Notice I have one copy of my mouth on the tooth layer and one copy on the mouth layer. I will hide and lock my mouth layer, and I will select with the black arrow the copy that is on the tooth layer. Hitting this reversal arrow will switch my fill and my stroke. I now have a copy of my mouth on the tooth layer that is just being defined with a stroke. At this point, I'm going to create an arc. You must lock onto the path on one side of the tooth, click and hold, and bring it to the opposite side of your tooth, doing that for each of the teeth. Obviously, these teeth are incorrect at this point. We will make some adjustments to the arcs with the white arrow once we have defined each of the appropriate teeth. Each arc must lock onto the path. If you don't lock onto the path now, you'll have to do it later. So please make sure to do it correctly this time. Selecting each arc, we click on the anchor point to make the handles active, and then using the handles, we will define each tooth. Once each tooth has been defined, we will select the exterior border with the black arrow. Then we will hit C on the keyboard to activate the Scissor tool, or you can click and hold on the Eraser tool and switch to the Scissor tool. Finding each intersection, we will move along our exterior border, cutting at each point where our tooth intersects with the border path. Be sure to only select the intersection of your arc with your border. It looks as if I selected or actually did not attach this arc correctly. So at this point I will select it, move it to the path, reselect our exterior border with the black arrow, hit C to activate the scissors, and trim at the correct intersection point. I will find the next intersection and continue to cut my exterior border. Once all exterior border bits have been cut, we will select the parts we do not need with the black arrow, and we will delete each of them, leaving behind the small border that we have cut from our initial mouth geometry. Selecting both lines with the black arrow, Control J will join them. Selecting the next two, Control J to join them. If you get any weird extensions, it shouldn't really matter because we do not use a stroke on these. Selecting these two, Control J will join them. Control J to join. Control J to join. And the last bit, Control J to join. Once we have all teeth joined, we will select them all, hit I for our eyedropper, and choose a color from inside our tooth. At this point, when we turn on our mouth layer, you will see that the border in between the tooth and the mouth is coincident, again because we use the mouth border or stroke to create the arcs for our teeth. At this point, the last thing we would need to do would be to use the pen tool to create our two hands. I would suggest creating the two arms on your wing layer.